am ready.
So, how many of you have read the Percy Jackson books? Some of you. How many of you know things about Greek mythology? Or some of the myths, or familiar with some of the figures? All right, how many of you have read the Iliad? Just Miss Wood. Okay, so I've been reading the Iliad, and it's the story of the Trojan War. It's the story of the end of the Trojan War. It's been going on for 10 years by the time you get to the Iliad, which it's described in other parts of the epic cycle. One example is the Kypria, which is a lost epic, and we only have fragments and summaries of it. But today I'm going to talk about how the Trojan War started, and why you can't really blame Paris for it. Paris is interesting because one of his epithets or nicknames in the Iliad is the cause of the war, but it's kind of a much broader issue than just the fact that he kidnapped or seduced Helen. One of the bigger things at play is divine intervention. The gods are consistently interfering and meddling with mortal lives. Proclus, a historian, summarized the Kypria, and the very first line of his summary is Zeus, together with Themis, plans the Trojan War. In the Iliad, the very first book, one of the events is Apollo sends a plague on the Greek camp on behalf of one of his priests. In book 5, Athena helps Diomedes, one of her favorite warriors, and gives him the ability to see the gods that are actively on the battlefield. She gives him the ability to hurt them, which not many warriors can do. And Aphrodite twice interferes in battles to save her favored heroes, Paris and her son Aeneas. She likes to swoop in, scoop them up, and carry them home. Another example of this divine intervention is the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, the parents of Achilles. Peleus was a powerful Greek king, and Thetis was a minor sea goddess, so their wedding was kind of a big deal. Lots of gods were invited. You can see in this illustration that there's people everywhere, and it's just a big party. Someone who wasn't invited to this party was Eris, the goddess of strife. She found out that she wasn't invited. She got really annoyed, and she decided to do what she does best, which is to create strife. She created a golden apple, labeled it for the fairest, and threw it in the midst of the partygoers. 3 goddesses each thought that they should win the apple: Hera, the queen of the gods, Athena, a powerful war goddess, and Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty. Since they were unable to decide at the wedding who should have the apple, they posed the question to Paris, a prince of Troy who was at that time a shepherd on a mountain near Olympus. Each goddess bribes him. Hera offers to make him a powerful king. Athena offers to give him battle prowess. And Aphrodite promises that he will be married to the most beautiful woman in the world. So Paris chooses Aphrodite, and she leads him to Helen. He kidnaps her or seduces her, depending on what you read, and they return to Troy, which kicks off the Trojan War. Helen is married to a Greek king named Menelaus. Menelaus is outraged at Paris's actions, and he gathers other Greek kings. They sail to Troy and start the war. But it's important to note that both Hera and Athena, had they been given the apple, they would also lead Paris to war. Hera offers a kingdom that Paris couldn't get without waging war on the surrounding countries. And Athena offers battle prowess, which, again, Paris can't earn without a war to fight in. So, in summary, you can't blame Paris alone for his choices and actions because he's kind of a pawn in the gods' games. He's just doing his best, and no matter which goddess he had picked in a competition that he had no say in, really, he didn't choose to start it. He was just posed the question, and he did his best to answer it. His epithet of the cause of the war is accurate, but it's unfair. So I hope that this discussion has given you a better appreciation of the Trojan War, of Greek mythology, and a better appreciation of Paris. Do you have any questions? All right, well, thank you for your time.